Good day, everyone. Welcome back. Live Q&A. Me by myself today. Crystal is busy with a client this morning, and Anita is taking some steps back for probably, I don't know, maybe a few weeks. She's got some family commitments, so she's busy for a little while. Crystal will be back on with me next week, next Tuesday. And yeah, let's get started with, we've already got questions. Hi, Adele. Hi, Frederick. Lovely to see you. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Let's grow this energy a little bit because, yeah, it feels like such an important time. Hi, Janice. Hello, Pluto and Aquarius. Yahoo! It's happening. It's happening. We feel the turn of events. I have questions that I would like us to tune in with together today, but I want to start with, hi, Ethan. I want to start with your questions first, and then if we have time, we'll get to some of mine. As I said, I like to save my questions up because when we tune in together and look at insights, it's just so much more potent. Just like when you do meditation as a group, you notice that it's almost in a way easier to tune in. Similarly, it's easier to channel on behalf of others than it is just for yourself, if that makes sense. Hello, LaRue. Lovely to see you. So I'm going to begin with Adele's question. Adele has come in, tuning in from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and saying there's been a lot of chemtrails lately. Do you see an end in sight? I'm missing our sunny Manitoba. We've looked at chemtrails before, and I feel like just with everything else as well in these times, it's very hard to kind of pin down an absolute accurate analysis of what's going on because we know that there are different sides still operating, still doing different agendas. Are some of the ingredients in these chemtrails, are they actually going to be beneficial? Are they doing something that is supportive? And who's deciding that? Whose science is that based on? The lack of transparency is the part about it. The lack of even acknowledging that it's happening, that's the part about it that is really super suspicious and energetically janked for me. I'm like, no, that is not okay. And we are seeing this really coming out right now, right? All the different medias are starting to open up the narrative, and stuff is being presented in a different way. My daughter just showed me something yesterday. It was some Facebook little meme or something, but it was basically, well, it was a little cartoon, I guess, and it was saying, the one character was saying, oh, I guess chemtrails are real after all. And the other character said, well, I've been trying to tell you that for years. And then the first guy said, well, how could you know that? It just got announced on the news yesterday, right? So again, there's a little bit of I want to say, an expansion into this information coming out. And so that is the backstory to the chemtrail situation. And of course, it connects very closely to weather manipulation. So let's see how our guides, and particularly your guides, Adele, want to support us right now in really seeing what's going on. What do we need to know about it? What can we do about it? Oh, ho, 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 wow. Yeah, okay. So something is changing. We are looking at a great upheaval. Just like other things, I don't know if you've noticed, I mean, obviously paying attention to the news, as we know that a lot is going to change here on the planet very soon. the side that is trying to kind of maintain power, dominance, and control, masterminding various different controlling mechanisms, including, what is sprayed chemically into the air to have all these different repercussions. Well, they're throwing everything they have out right now because they know that they're kind of globally losing traction, right? So, but it's an ugly fight at the end. And so my sense is that it's gotten worse on some level, but it is also, this is the tower. This is like things are coming down. The systems are coming down. Of course, we know when the Trump administration takes official office that, RFK Jr.'s agenda is to stop spraying all over the United States. And I can't imagine if there's that much narrative and discussion going on in the media right next door that Canada isn't going to also make that a top priority. Okay, so we have a lot of emotion here. There's a lot of, we've got the Queen of Cups, we've got the little Page of Cups. I'm going to put that in a larger screen. Let me just pop it up for you there. Yeah, so we've got, it's stirring our feelings, and I do sense that there is something about the gloom of keeping the skies cloudy, keeping the sun away from us. So it's both psychological and energetic. We know what happens. Seasonal affective disorder, people literally are not functioning at their best capacity because they've been denied access to sunlight. So there is this sense of, oh yeah, gosh, eh? So let's talk timing, because I kind of am feeling, I hate to say this, but I do kind of see what we're seeing here is that it might be getting a little worse before it improves. So let's move this up and see what our advice says. Oh yeah, we've got to apply pressure now. Yeah, we got to apply pressure now, especially pressure around bringing the secrets out. So this card, this is our advice. These positions are advice. And this card is Knight of Swords. He's on a mission. He is known as he's somewhat assertive and possibly even aggressive. He fights with words. He fights with truth. So this is a whistleblower card for sure. And then this card, among other meanings, can related to something like this. It can be things that are kept secret, things that are hidden. So I want to say that we are still going through. Even look at the two gates. Do you see the gateways? Those two, and then right here. My sense is we're still going through a couple of months where it may get a little bit worse before it improves, but we're going to see a lot of truths being exposed in the next 2 months. Wow. So keep on it. In fact, it's almost like the guides are saying, yeah, dig, 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 and keep sharing this information on the internet. Keep, don't let up right now, because we're trying to clear this once and for all, right? Wow. Yeah. So there will be a coming into balance. It feels like the after effects of this is like aftershocks that's going to continue even when they stop spraying it, like the land our lungs, our bodies are still going to be clearing this stuff for like 2 or 3 years, is what I'm getting. But I'm feeling within 3 years that we are seeing things harmonizing and restored and returning to, returning to um, beautiful blue skies, normal clouds again. Um, and there will be, it's important, your guides are saying, and our guides are saying, it's important not to be discouraged. Sometimes we hear scientific reports that are very doom and gloom. They're very much like, you know, it's going to take hundreds of years to repair the damages that have been done. And I believe that in um, one, let's say, timeline or one version of reality, based on the old system of time, the old system of consciousness and heart opening, yeah, it could take hundreds of years, but we are in a completely new frequency here. And this is coming down. This is changing. Hi, Angela. Hi, Glenn. Gin, sorry. LaRue, Linda. Hi, everybody. So, not the best answer, but look at this, another 2. Yeah, it's going to be, I feel like we're going to see a couple more months of intensity. And in a way, it's going to be undeniable. And when we start really whistleblowing, all people have to do is look up and they're going to be like, yeah, something's happening. This is not normal. This is not okay. So in a way, it adds credence to our claims that, people who have even been very skeptical doubters, when the whistleblowing intel starts to come onto the mainstream media, they're going to be like, oh, well, yeah, I just went outside yesterday and saw it, right? So in a way, that's good. So, and then a couple of years of coming into balance. So I would like to vision, and all of us to intend, that this stops completely within the next 2 months, and then we take a couple of years to clear and come back into some sort of balance, and that it's okay. The guides are saying, don't be afraid of that. Don't be daunted by that. And if we see ourselves as victims in this process, we're going to slow it down, because, it's almost like there's a slight difference between anger and assertiveness. And anger is really our own ego saying, what part of me is still in alignment with the dark force energy? We're angry at ourselves. We're angry at ourselves for the way that we're still somehow in a frequency alignment with it. Once we raise our frequency above that, we can have compassion for it. It doesn't disrupt us anymore. But we still can be assertive. So how do you be assertive without being angry? That is connected to this. Hi, Tarot by Lupo from Yorkshire, England. Maria, lovely to see you. Someone is asking about windstorm coming to the Pacific Northwest. That was going to be one of my questions. So good one. Thank you. In fact, it kind of ties in with this. So let's just go right on to that question now. I am in the Pacific Northwest at this moment. So obviously it's, it's there for consideration. I'm just amazed at the languaging that the mainstream media is using around everything, right? I'm like, what is it they're calling it right now? I'm going to go look here for a sec. There's a name for it. What is it? Storm bomb or something. Oh, I don't see it now. If you've seen that, put it in the comment. they're calling it a cyclone bomb, or it's like, wow, okay. Talk about trying to drum up fear around war in the Middle East and the Ukraine and storms and link them together by calling it a cyclone bomb. Like, wow, that's just to me like psychological, what do they call it? Subliminal programming 101, right? It's like, let's link all the scary stuff together and just start calling it cyclone bomb. Da, da, da. It's like the Armageddon narrative. And I'm not trying to make light of the disruptions that we're experiencing and the catastrophic effects of these storms. What I'm saying is, like, clearly we're looking at something. If it was a natural phenomena entirely, I believe that there wouldn't be a need to terrify us with it, right? It's like there's something, there wouldn't be so much thought, almost like an ad campaign put into the way it's described. Like, to me, those are the kind of things, I line those two things up and I go, okay, those are connected. Because you don't have to make up new terms. There's the climate emergency, and then there's all these new terms. Like, we can call something a severe storm. We've had them before. We can call something a tsunami instead of what are they calling it? There's something like a killer wave. No, not killer wave. Let me know if you've been watching. I saw it earlier and I was like, oh, it's just phenomenal. The words that are being, what is it? The atmospheric river. Never heard a word like that before. And it's like, yeah, I understand there are what appears to be increasing magnitude of global climate emergencies. I get it. But again, like I said, my feeling that there is some funny business going on behind this is based on just how quickly the narrative has become this terrifying word game. And I think that if this was a natural phenomena, there would be not a need to do that. Yeah. So let me know your thoughts on that. And then let's just see what's going to happen with us here over the next, I guess they're saying it's going to go on until the weekend. So we got like 5-6 days or something. What do we need to know about this? Okay, here's us. So interesting. 10 of Pentacles. Well, that's a really good, strong card. It's very grounded. It's the highest number of pentacles you can have. And it is a completion in the area of material resource. So there's something about us kind of having all we need to ride out the storm. Kind of what I'm getting. Okay, let's look at this. Yeah, even interestingly, like this increasing category, like, the message about it's going to go from a category whatever 1 to a 5, and that it increases exponentially so quickly. So this guy, overall answer, he's the 9 of Wands is like kind of the last straw a little bit. It's sort of like holding your own and really observing the bigger picture. So not quickly jumping into panic mode because they're pressing the panic. They're slamming the panic button. They're actually blowing up the panic button, right? So it's like some part of us going, okay, I'm going to prepare myself, but I'm not going to like throw myself into panic again and again and again. And a little bit, I'm getting that story of the old fashioned story of cry wolf, right? It's almost like if you press the panic button so many times, it doesn't work anymore. And then if there is an actual emergency, we're just disregarding it. So I feel like it's really important to operate with common sense in this and to, yes, obviously, you've got your whatever you need, like backup, having your candles close by for just like we've always done in storms everywhere, right? Like, um, oh my gosh, I just had some really funny memories from years ago when I was a kid and trying to find the candle drawer with the matches in it. And and a story of one time there was only one match left and we found the candle drawer in the dark. And then my mom said, I better light it because you're gonna, you you will waste the match. And then she lit it. And then she went, lit the candle, blew out the match, and blew out the candle. Anyway, I don't know why that is coming to me, but it's just like, okay, we're not stupid, right? We've we've had candles and matches and emergency lights and flashlights, right? It's just like what happened with the eclipses last year. And like, oh, everybody's going to go crazy and the world's going to end and there's going to be like, all these things happen. And it's like, yeah, there's no denying storms are so powerful. We live in a very somewhat precarious part of the world, as does everybody at this point, right? It's like there isn't anywhere that's completely safe. So, yeah, these are concerns when you live near a coast and when we are looking at dramatic weather events overall. What's causing that? We can't say for sure. But again, look at this. This is us. Solid. Decades, eons, lifetimes of like experience. Again, don't let the narrative talk you into believing that you're stupid. And I think that's really important for us to keep. Yeah, like, so we really, the greatest loss is what I'm hearing is common sense. We've really got out of touch with, it used to be common sense to have things dialed. We didn't go around panicking all the time. And so that is a working, again, another practical, very sensible, logical, grounded, yep, wait and see, observe. Beautiful. We might have some power outage, right? See, the hermit. We might have some power outage. Yeah. So far, I mean, don't see any major destruction. Again, the guides are saying the biggest destruction is the destruction in our confidence and us feeling like we're being told that we don't have what's necessary to survive these storms. It's like, even I think about even what happened, in the Southeast states with all those hurricanes. It's like if you, instead of terrifying people and saying, be afraid, be very afraid, be afraid, it's like, why not say, go to your muster points, get connected with your community, set up your community plans. Like, why not get people excited about helping each other and showing them ways that they can like show up and like, you know, come together as communities, as families, as neighbors, neighborhoods. Like, why not get a neighborhood plan together? Like, why not tell people here, get out in mainstream media and show people how you can get a neighborhood kit together and make it like something empowering instead of all this like shame and like terror. And yeah, that is why I'm like, I will not jump at every startle response. I'm not going to just ignore them. I'm going to keep observing, right? You see this Hanging man, he's gathering his own intel and putting it in that light of you see how he's got the light over his head, and then that light goes into the wisdom card. The hermit is the wise elder, the one that says, we've done this. This isn't our first rodeo. And this is what we actually really need to get solid in. All right. Yeah, because there's the victim card. You see, this person is completely tied up and feels helpless, right? She's got all those swords around her, kind of fencing her in. She's wrapped up, she's blindfolded. And the rumor in this card is that her hands are free. She can actually untie herself. So she's letting the story wrap her into knots, into a pretzel knot. She's letting this narrative psych her out to the point where she feels helpless. I'm not just speaking, on behalf of myself. I feel like the guides are coming through and saying, this is for all of us, right? This is for all. Oh, wow. Okay, this is the best card in the tarot. The sun will shine again. So a temporary disruption. Keep your head on. Don't lose your head here. Yeah. Hope it didn't sound too much like a lecture, but I think I make it sound so intense because I am somewhat frustrated and angry. Oh yeah, right? Tarot by Lupo. We had snow today and it was called a snow bomb. Oh my, you know what? It's like, yeah. Okay, so Maria is saying they're saying brace for outages, right? Oh yeah, bomb cyclone is what they're calling it. Right? It's like, so again, notice these words. Notice that there's no accident. This is psych out 101. You want to psych people out? Put all the things they're afraid of and list it in a big line and smash that panic button day and night. I'm not going to be bludgeoned to death with that fear mongering. Yes, I'm, obviously, I'm most afraid of their reckless hubris and insanity. And definitely keeping an eye on everything that comes down the pipe, every piece of intel, and then observe, right? Sometimes we know that the intel is planted in the truther community to make us look foolish, to smash us with a panic button, and then we all get up in arms, and then it doesn't happen, and then we trust those truths less and less. So it's another one of those cry wolf things. So we've got to go into deeper observation, right? This hanging man is hanging upside down to actually get blood flow to his brain, which allows him to see more clearly and actually be filled up with the light of wisdom and true critical thought perception, right? So it's important that we stay tuned within and look at the big picture. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Tarot by Lupo. Okay, we've got XRP questions. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else related to this. Okay. I don't know a lot about XRP, so I'm just going to pull cards and read what I see. Oh, and then Sandra B is saying any message as it is the 161st anniversary of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. Okay, love it. So, um, let's see, where is the question about the XRP? Hmm, can't see it now. Oh yeah, where do you see XRP going? Okay, I will just read the cards. Lovely to see you all. And, it's interesting talking about the power outages and all that's happening with, like, we're so relying on the internet to stay connected, to keep our communities strong. And I have an interesting way that I work with spirit around things like this, and I'm feeling called to share this with you just briefly. And what that is for some reason they're calling it less is more. So what I do is I basically look at something like, what's happening with the weather, for example, and a lot of these narratives. And I basically say, at some point, um, like, what's happening with a lot of what's going on the planet right now is there is a point to getting us all riled up and to for all of these things to be happening on the outer stage, just like we call it the movie, right? There is a reason that it's really about, like, keeping us on our toes, helping us to become more discerning, more in critical thought, more in personal empowerment. And then I keep visualizing that as we gain that, just like this, not being psyched out by every news flash that's, fear propaganda, right? Like, as we get more discerning and autonomous and strong in our own perception, our own observation, critical thought, um, these things will, that's the time that they're going to be resolved and we won't need them anymore. So it's sort of like, I can see that there's a reason for it. And I'm like, I keep visualizing all of it, everything, the war in the Middle East, the war in Ukraine. I keep visualizing that it's just this timing of, like, as we, all of the ways that we need to evolve to grow together as a human consciousness at this point. Well, all of this challenge, all of this, like, very energetically polarizing, um, we have to grow collectively. There won't be an easy answer to this. It's not going to be like this side's right and that side's wrong. We're going to have to evolve through our hearts, through our personal and, autonomous self-development and personal power, personal ability to see with critical thought. And as we get to that place, we're going to think, oh, thank God the terrible thing didn't happen. But the reason it's no longer going to be in front of us is because we don't need that for growth anymore. So it's kind of like we are in training right now. And the reason there's so much on our plates is because we're at a really powerful growth evolution point. And it's a bit of a critical one, right? It's like we got to really grow to go up this level because it's a transitional turning point with all the time, the astrological cycles within cycles within cycles. So I just keep seeing, I always see, I don't just see some magical intervention where the future will be solved and we won't have issues anymore. Whew, thank goodness someone came, some off-worlders or some, interdimensionals came and rescued us, poor little us. We'll just wait until they get here. It's like, no, as we evolve, then the need for that extreme challenge diminishes. And it just sort of starts to dissipate. And we've seen it with other things, right? We've seen it with this narrative of the health crisis that was pushed upon us. And it's like we see now that what we needed to learn from that, obviously, a lot of us learned so much. And the ability for that narrative to take hold and really gain traction again is diminished exponentially. So we can do that with everything else. We can do that with the economic crisis, with the environmental and weather manipulation crisis. We can do that with global politics and international relations crisis, right? We can do that with everything as we gain our own like higher frequency sovereign. And it's not like we just get the fairy godmother taps us on our head and good job, now you're through the ascension portal you go. It's actually like it's work. We have to work at this, and as we do that, it's almost like we don't even notice how much better we are at dealing with not getting polarized, at seeing beyond the black and white narrative. And miles to go with that. There's my little rant for today. So, question about what's going to happen with XRP. Well, this is very interesting. This is like a strong energy of, I want to say, clear vision, clear. It's almost like this is being well managed, but it has to go through the gauntlet. It has to kind of stay protected and go through the gauntlet. It's going to need to, it isn't sort of ready or safe to come out, is what I'm being shown. Yeah, so there we got that 9 of Wands again, right? So a lot of things are there's a lot of flack in the air, but this is being well directed. It's almost like you could see it's sort of like a vehicle that's going through, a lot like an external crisis, right? So there's a big storm going on outside, but the vehicle is being driven by a good driver, and it just has to get through this. And how long is that going to take? Interesting. There's that card we had earlier, the Priestess. Yep, just stay in gratitude is what I'm hearing, because it's really easy to go into woe is me, maybe I shouldn't do this, maybe this isn't right, or I don't, like it's so easy for it to get psyched out. Stay in joy, stay in gratitude, stay in harmony. Yeah. And there's more to this. Like, I feel like there's a lot more going on underneath this that we don't even know about. So, yeah, stay on track and just know that it feels like it's being safely guided and transitioned through this chaos time. Now, I know you would like me to give you timelines. It's always very hard to do that, but let's just look here what we've got. Well, possibly even there's like something to celebrate within 3 weeks is what I'm being shown. Yeah, and things are on track is what I'm hearing. So, okay. Let's just see any other questions. Is out-of-body experience safe? Should we be learning it in lesser to reconnect with our soul? Oh, this is such a good question. Thank you, Shanti. Uh, very, very good question. I'll give you my perspective and then we'll see what the cards have to say. So I think I've talked about dimensions before and that we are, of course, we're talking about 7, 9, 12, 164 dimensions. Like there's just exponential, larger and larger perspectives of dimensions. And what you're referring to, I believe, when we talk of out of body experience is where we leave first, second, and third dimension temporarily to travel in fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and so on, to have an experience of soul's learning and then come back into first, second, and third dimension. This has actually been coming up in some of my readings lately. And the caution is not that, we shouldn't want to do this or that it's not appropriate for us at some level of our spiritual development. The caution is that we can't really do it until we've done a lot of work in first, second, and third dimension. Because first, second, and third dimension is our physical reality and our connection to our earth home and our bodies, which is not some lower frequency thing. It is actually, in a way, who's to say what's high and what's low? It could be the greatest frequency is the form, the physicality, the like creation point that makes matter out of consciousness. Like that could be the highest dimension of all. And so it's not a better or a worse. First, second, third are not bad. That's the old transcendental propaganda that makes us think that it's evil. Our bodies are evil. The physicality is evil, and we got to go to a better place, a higher place. Even the numbering system is kind of strange, right? So what I see it is it's an altered dimension. It's an other dimension outside of physical matter, but to go there is ideally and really for any sort of healthy, authentic spiritual growth, we want our first three-dimensional bodies to be so healthy. And that isn't just eating well and having good spiritual hygiene health practices. It's also healing the trauma that lives in our well, I don't want to call them lower, but first, second, and third dimensions. Like when we start going into fourth, which is astral, and fifth and sixth, people keep going, oh, I want to go to fourth and fifth dimension. And I'm like, okay, well, that's yes, traveling outside extra dimensionally is something really amazing for our soul's growth. But we can't really do it in a really healthy, sovereign way until we've done a lot of healing in the first three dimensions, or we end up really stuck in, say, astral or fifth, which is chaos dimension. Those we can get really tricked in those dimensions. There can be a lot of Maya illusion and overwhelm. So yes, it is a beautiful practice. However, the real spiritual gifts come through taking that journey slowly and doing a lot of work in the physical, emotional, and mental body and psychic body before you start really astral traveling. Let's see what your guides say. So here we are, strong. So again, the strong physical body, mental and emotional body. Yeah. So we can get caught in the grief in fifth dimension. And this is why I keep saying, like, aim for sixth, aim for sixth dimension. Sixth dimension. So what I see is seventh dimension is Christ consciousness. Well, 7.7. And sixth dimension is Christ actualizing in the world. So it's like the dimension of generosity, of reciprocity, of love and kindness and caring for others. And it's that dimension of the heart, the sixth. And then the seventh is kind of like living in a higher spiritual or a more enhanced spiritual realm while operating out of the heart for the greater good of all. The fifth is the challenge dimension. We have to do a lot of work in the fifth to get to the sixth, to get to the seventh. So a lot of people, I think, get lost in the fifth dimension. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. And it could be timing wise, we may want to wait a little on this. I'm hearing even a decade from now, we could be doing a lot of this extra beyond body traveling, but we're right in the crux of some of the biggest mental, emotional, spiritual, psychic war that's ever happened on this planet. So it might not be the most ideal time. We're all a bit burnt out energetically. Yeah, we may want to also, I'm hearing our earth is a little bit exhausted and challenged right now, so may not be able to support us as well as when some of this major crises has cleared. So it's not a no. It's not a no, you shouldn't do it. It's just a maybe looking for a time a little down the road when that will be more natural. And I feel like some great teachers are coming back. Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of people, especially I want to say like Christian mysticism, and so many of those schools or practices that are about actually learning spiritual science. So this is coming back, and I'm not talking about religious doctrine. I'm talking about the spiritual science that predates that, or that is like much more evolved, like Christ consciousness science. And that will be coming. We'll have more and more of that guidance, probably. So I'm just seeing these three, the Three of Cups lying there, and the Three of the Empress, like maybe 3 years from now. And within 5 years, there's going to be a lot of schools where we'll be able to practice this with some really great mentors and teachers and support. So I hope, Shanti, that has been helpful for you. It's been helpful for me. And we're coming up to the hour here, so I'm just going to, oh yeah, Winter Moon is asking about chemtrails again, and we just looked at that a little earlier, so you might want to go check that. But I'm just going to quickly pull 3 cards on Ireland. So interesting, right? All the interdimensional energies in Ireland. yeah, I'm almost like, if with your permission, Winter Moon, I would like to perhaps alter your question a little bit and look at what specifically about Ireland could be unique in how we respond to these trails, because I've been watching, I'm doing this dowsing course for Beyond Mystic. It's not up yet, but when it is, I'll put a link to it below so you can go over and check that out. And I've been doing a lot of research on dowsing and ley lines, especially in Europe with a lot of these sacred sites. And interestingly, so many of those megalithic structures are designed to support the landscape and the frequency that literally can create like unique ecosystems or ecospheres where like outside radiation or magnetic disturbance can't even touch it, because it's sort of like in this frequency bubble that is protective. And so I just wonder, if in Ireland there's something, the magic of the Fae working with all of you, and is there a way that you can help that so that the land is protected, and then also, of course, the people and the animals and all the sentient life forms are also protected. And it just feels like there's a latent, there's already a grid system there. So working with that intentionally could be really great. Yeah, interesting strategy, the strategy card. I was going to just pull 3, but I really want to see a little bit more of this. Oh, look at that. The same 2 10s again. Yeah, I remember, you might have heard of this a few years back. I mean, I've been onto this chemtrails thing for like 25 years. And a few years back, there was a lot of talk about these almost like the organites, the organites that you can buy that create a frequency that actually keep energies, sort of vibrating in a good way so that there's a harmony. And the negative effects of these things that are sprayed from above is nowhere near as impactful. And I remember there were technologies and different things that were being used. I kind of am getting that in Ireland. I get that there could be a benefit in rediscovering some of the old technologies, and that might be part of why the challenge is there. Just like I was saying earlier, we're being challenged to force us into coming together in new ways with the old wisdom, with the old teachings, and reviving them. Because you've got this mental strategy card here. So, yeah. I hope that's helpful. I don't know if there's some way that you can connect with, if there's some way that you can connect with the sacred sites in Ireland, and if there's other people doing this work to kind of repel the negative impact of the chemtrails. But I'd be very curious to know if anyone knows anything about that, because it almost, again, I just keep seeing it draws the people that came here to do that work. And it's literally like, what I'm being shown is you go out to these sacred sites and there's like 5 of you standing there with your dowsing rods or your whatever, things that you bring along, and you're all like, "Oh, I'm here to I got a message, I should come and do this," and then you're all like, "Hey, well, me too, let's do it," right? It's like this beautiful, like, we're finding ourselves around these crises. We're finding our soul tribe and a lot of our purpose around responding to this stuff. So instead of seeing it like, how awful, and we're like victims and there's nothing we can do and it's too late, and it's the opposite of that. It's actually perfect time. And look at this, 3 10s. Let's just stop there and take that in. 10, Wheel of Fortune, number 10 in the tarot, 10 of Swords in the past, 10 of Wands in the present. 10s are about completion, endings, the finishing up of something, right? 3 of a kind is a blessing. We are being blessed to be here at this time to complete this and take the gifts that every cloud has this, every chemtrail has a silver lining, right? Every cloud has a silver lining. There's a gift in this for us. And that's where we're going. Look at this. If we take these guys away, look at that. We're actually going to be out in the field reconnecting with these sacred sites that our ancestors left for us to, it's sort of like, here's this amazing thing that you can recharge and heal yourselves, heal the planet, lift the frequency. Ethan, I want to get every chemtrail has a silver lining on a t-shirt. You go ahead and make that, Ethan. I'll put them up on the website for sale. Oh my gosh, right? Oh, okay. Last question, Suzanne. Hi, Suzanne. Lovely to see you. When can we expect to see the education system change? Any personal advice for my son? Oh, love, love, love. Yeah, let's look at that. Gosh, I mean, these youth, right? It's like I'm being shown, we have this idea, we're very concerned about them, we're very concerned that the youth are, they've been brainwashed and they've been, dumbed down by all the different media and technology and, stuff in the food and the water and the spray in the air and you name it, programmed, all of it, right? And we have this like, oh, it's so tragic. It's like, how on earth can we like see a good future for them? And yet there's this energy about the youth that I think is so fascinating. And that is just like what I said earlier about being bludgeoned with that panic button. They have this kind of like, show me something I don't know. Like in a way, they've been so inundated with the falsity of it all that I think when they actually smell and taste and sense and see and feel reality, like real amazing stuff, they're just going to be like, whew. Like they will not be easy to program with narrative because they're bludgeoned to death with it. They've got like zero tolerance for it, right? And, I mean, my generation, we still knew how to take a lecture and sit there and like take it in and like it would undo us, right? So there's just something about they've been asked to take on so much in terms of when they rise to personal power, it is such a phenomenal journey for them and self-actualization and self-awareness and sovereignty. Like they're pretty ninja untouchable because of, just what they slogged through. So in that regard, Susan, I think we're looking at, again, the perfect timing, that at the point where they're like, yeah, I'm done with all this. It doesn't actually mean much to me. And I know what does, is the time when the school system will change and there will be that what does will be taking its place. So it's sort of like the closing of the era of mass hypnosis, mass manipulation, I mean, one thing, right, where when people have suffered any sort of a type of programming or abuse or whatever, and they recover, they are super sensitive to it after that. They can spot it a mile away. So these kids are not going to be, you won't be able to mess with them. I mean, look at, we know, right? You can't make them do anything. So let's look and see. All right, here we are. Another one of these 10 of tens, 10 of swords this time. Oh my gosh, right? When is it going to change? All right. Well, it's again, look further, Suzanne, is what I'm hearing. Look out beyond what's close at hand. It's already changing. Look for the change and you'll find it. Look for the places you could say, well, oh yeah, they're so few and far between. Well, maybe they are this month, maybe they are this year, but 2 years from now, if we all look in that direction, broaden our horizons, we're going to start seeing it everywhere. It's popping up everywhere, the new systems. Yeah. Again, like I said, we could look at this generation and say, well, they are the ones that will never be fooled again. And we still are, my generation was, you could still pull the wool over our eyes pretty easily. Even now, I mean, that's one of the things, right? That's one of the things of growing up in an era. We kind of carry that generational karma. Even if we can do so much work, there's always a little bit of a loose screw there, right? It's like just a little bit susceptible. So that's our work, is to keep up with that, keep growing, keep evolving. And, we come at it from such a different angle than they do. We looking at their struggles from our perspective, it's hard to see how to empower them, but they are, look at this, 3 of Cups in the past, the disappointments, but the 2 cups right behind this character, they will turn around when they're ready and find something that we can't see. So, oh, look at that. Yeah. I love this celebration. So there again, there's the 3 cups spilled, and here's the 3 cups upright. 2 years, 3 years, this is shifting. This is shifting. Yeah. So be ready to shift with it. And I guess what that means is keep looking further afield for new innovative education models that are, some of them have been around for a while, some of them are just burgeoning right now. And again, we can give that information, we can share that with the younger generation, offer it up to them to consider. They may not utilize it in the timing that we think they should, or in the way that we think would be the most reasonable, but it feels like, yeah, giving them the tools to work with. So other systems, and then let's just see where we're at here. Another 10. Yeah. You know, another one. We got 3 10s again. So, and you saw I shuffled the cards, right? There's a little bit here, actually, Suzanne, and I'm going to leave you all with this thought. Would it be okay for our kids if there was no school for a while? Like none. Like if we just stopped this concept of school for a couple of years, even if it just stopped. Hmm. And if like a whole pile of us just said, like the kids hate it, and we're like, it's over, no more. Not no more ever, but let's let it die, that old system. Let's just let it completely come to a close. And then, like, already new things are going to be in the works. Interesting thought. Yeah. So Ricky's saying, I would rather have no school at all. And you know what, Ricky? I agree to a point, because what we can see is that it's going to look different, right? The unschooling movement is amazing. It's like, but we will still need teachers and educators and mentors and guides and all of that, apprenticeships and learning. Humans need to learn, and there's so many ways we can do it, and there's so many better ways we can do it. I mean, almost any way would be better than how we've been doing it, right? So, but I think there's a game going on here with some of our generation, the older generation, going, well, let's just play it safe and stay in school because we don't know, like, we don't have anything else to offer you. And that we can change that story. We can say, you know what, there might be some time where we just say, school's done. What are we gonna do with them? What are they gonna do with their time? Right? It's like, let's look for something else, even as a temporary kind of transitional step before the restart of something new, because we really want that to stop. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, kids can learn online, absolutely, and yet we also see that, we have become so stilted that way, right? We have so little connection with tangible learning anymore. And a lot of kids, I think, are kind of up to here with the technology. Of course, you've been hearing for a while that I'm predicting that we're going to have a renaissance of no tech, low tech. That's going to be the rebellion of the next wave of youth. Is going to be, what are they rebelling? They're rebelling against technologies. I'm not saying all of them, but there's definitely going to be a counterculture in the next 5 or 10 years of youth that are like zero tech or low tech, and that'll be cool to be that. So we got a lot to look forward to here, folks. We got a lot of transitions coming, and it's going to be such an amazing celebration. We're on the upswing, especially those of you listening here that are ready for this, right? And I think just for you, Suzanne, to go, yeah, I can just say maybe within a year, 2 at the most, we're done. Maybe by next fall, we're done. Done. And if enough people say that, the whole thing goes. Yeah. All right, folks, I've gone over time. So it's been so lovely to see you all here today. And what a pleasure, what a delight as always. I'll be on here next Tuesday with Crystal again, and bring your questions, show up early so that you can, if you want your question heard, if you can get on right at the beginning and put your question in capital letters, then I can make sure we get to it. And have a wonderful week. Many blessings to you all. See you here next time. Bye for now.